Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be discussing about the common disease that affects maize. The common disease in maize plants. So there are a lot of disease affects maize plants, and most of this disease are one of the problems that farmer face a lot. And some farmers can't identify or can't diagnose this particular disease, because there is difference between disease pest and insect pest. Sometimes some farmers do misdiagnose these things, so they think the disease pest is also the insect pest. They think the disease pest is also insect pest. So at that moment they start treating they start treating it as if they are treating insect pest, which is very wrong. So I just want to today we'll just elaborate and let us know more about all this disease and how to identify them in maize. So first off is one of the common diseases in maize is we have the common rust. So common rust is caused by fungi. So this fungi is the one that affects the maize plant, that affect the maize. So how do we identify this disease in plant? So how do we identify this common rust in maize plant? So first of all is that one of the symptoms this thing shows, like first off is that there will always be reddish brown pustules on the leaf. So there will always be reddish brown. So anytime you go to your farm and you observe that you see some reddish brown pustules on the leaf of your maize, always keep note that it might be this common rust. So that is one of the symptoms. Another thing is that whenever this thing has been introduced into the maize plant, so it gets to some stage whereby when it's mature, it turns that reddish brown turns to dark. It turns to something like black. It turns to something blackish. You grab. So when the color changes to something to black, they know that the severity is now high in the plant. It might destroy all the system of the plant. So, and if the effects of this common rust is very, very, very critical. So first off is that it destroys the chloroplasts of the plant cells. It destroys the chloroplasts, and maybe by leading or resulting to what we call chlorosis. So this chlorosis, when there's chlorosis in plant, the leaves of the plant start turning yellow due to the fact that it is unable to photosynthesize its food again. So it's unable to process the food, because we know that chloroplast is the function, is one that acts as the function for food production in maize plants. So when the chloroplast is destroyed, so the plant won't be able to produce its food again. So from sunlight, from energy from sunlight, so it destroys it, then resulting to yield loss. Because when the maize plant cannot produce its food again, then there will be yield loss. So the plants won't be able to grow again. There will be stunted growth. There will be yield loss. So, and it will result to economic loss for farmers also. So it results to economic loss for farmers. So another thing is that the second one is we have the northern maize leaf blight. Northern maize leaf blight. This northern maize leaf blight is caused by bacteria rather. So it is caused by bacteria, and one of the things that I observe in the maize when northern leaf blight has happened, or it has been introduced into the plant, is that you see a grayish green lesion. So there will be a long one. So when you can just hold one of your leaves now and just check, you just see that, oh, this leaf, and you observe a long grayish green. To be a grayish green on the leaf, it is a lesion of grayish green, which is long on the maize leaf. And by the two sides of that long parallel grayish green color, you will see something dark, a darkish border on the sides of the maize. So which is well, these are the symptoms of northern maize leaf blight. So and the effect is that it also affects the photosynthesis process in the maize, so resulting to stunted growth and things like that. So another thing is that yes, it actually reduces the photosynthetic level of plants. So and those are one of the causes that it actually sorry. Okay, so this is one of the that it actually affects. So another thing is the gray leaf blight. You have the gray leaf blight. So this one is also affected by is also caused by bacteria. So this gray leaf blight that is caused by bacteria, one of the symptoms you can actually observe in maize when they have been affected by this bacteria that causes gray leaf blight is that it also have the lesion. The lesion also will always be darkish. It will always be something like brownish color. The lesion will also be, but it will not be. It will be rectangular, and it also forms like some gauze might also form in the air of the maize. That means the corn that is produced by the stem, from the stem of the maize, the corn that is produced from the stem. So there will be a gauze form on the corn. So and this is one of the symptoms of northern leaf blight. So and the effect is that number one, it affects the fruit and the corn itself, like the seed, the maize seed that the maize plant is producing. So it affects, it disorganizes the seeds and reduce the quality. So and this also results in market loss for farmers. And we also have southern leaf blight. So the main difference between the southern maize leaf blight and northern maize leaf blight is that both are definitely a lesion, a kind of lesion on the leaf, but the southern leaf blight, the southern leaf blight lesion is always short. So the northern one is always long, but the southern one is always short. So and another thing is that the southern one always affects from behind the leaf of the maize. So the northern one, you always observe it on top of the leaf. So but the southern one, you always observe from behind, from the underneath of the maize leaf. So it starts affecting from the underneath, then gradually affects and comes on top of the leaf, affecting all the leaf system. So and this also affects the photosynthetic process of the maize, and also lead to yield loss. So and it also affect the ears, like the corn that is being produced, like the maize ear. So it also affects it, so reducing the quality of the maize seed that the maize will produce. So another one that we have is also the mosaic virus, the maize dwarf mosaic virus. So the maize dwarf mosaic virus, MDMV. So this MDMV is one of the most common disease in maize. It's very, very common in maize. So it's just like it's a mosaic form, like something like that looks like when they pour a dye on a leaf, the way it is the irregular shape on maize leaf. So it forms like an irregular shape on maize leaf. So it affects the tissue system of the maize. So and resulting to what we call, that is what we said, maize dwarf. So it results to stunted growth. The maize won't be able to grow well. It won't grow well because of the disease has affected the tissue system. All the cells that are supposed to grow to form tissue in the system of the maize, it has affected it. So it will result to stunted growth, and sometimes in some cases the photosynthesis process is also distorted, and also most cases also leading to what we call the chlorosis, and resulting to economic loss for farmers. So, as all this has been said about most of the common disease in maize plants, especially in West Africa, especially in Nigeria. So how do we control all these common diseases in maize? So how do we control them? First off is that there are many ways to control. There are many methods in which we can use in controlling all these things. But the first one, which is very that is less toxic, is what we call crop rotation. So by rotating some crop, like a particular land that you have used for maize cultivation before, you can rotate it. Use the land for yam. Maybe you have another particular land you have been using for yam. Use the particular land for maize. So it will allow the disease to have a particular, like they won't be able to, they won't be able to know, or they won't be able to be more severe on a particular land, because the more you plant your maize in a particular land where you know that there is high inoculum there, it will make the population of the pathogens or of the vectors that spread this pathogen to be high. So when you move away your plant from that particular land to another land, so it will reduce the population, because most of these diseases, they only affect maize. So when they see that their their prey is no more in that particular land, they will live, or they might die due to they won't be able to survive in the crop. So one of the best method is the crop rotation, which is a cultural method. So another one is you have planting disease resistant seeds. So there are many maize hybrid seed in the markets now that they have a certain resistance to disease, maybe to virus, maybe to bacterial set of disease, or maybe to fungal set of disease. So when you plant all this seed, they won't affect the maize, due to the fact that the maize has been genetically bred to resist all this type of disease in them. So, and which is the best method to use, is the best cultural method to use. And another one is that though all these disease resistant seed might be cost, so another method that you can actually use to eradicate or to control this disease in your maize cultivation or your maize plantation is using appropriate chemicals, using appropriate fungicides or bacteria or insecticides. So first off is the application of fungicides. So these fungicides, though there are some fungicides that might not work for some fungi, it's not all fungi that fungicides work for. So there are some fungicides, if you apply it to your maize farm, rather than affecting the fungi, it will affect the maize system. It will actually affect the maize system. It will affect the maize system. So it will affect the maize system. So the best way is for you to use the cultural method. But there are some fungi definitely that if you apply these fungicides to them, it will affect them and they will die off. So, but that's why I said you should apply the appropriate fungicides. Then another thing is applying appropriate insecticides. So for people that are using synthetic farming, so that means chemical oriented farm. So applying your insecticide, you have to make sure your insecticide you want to apply an insecticide that will affect the vectors. That means the insects that act as a vector to some particular diseases. So because there are some insects that they are the vector that cause a particular disease into maize. So they have in them this disease. So when they get into the farm, so when they start biting or they chew or they suck the plant sap, so at that process they inflict or they introduce this disease into the plant. So when you apply this insecticide at the appropriate time, so it will eradicate all these vectors, all these vector insects, and minimize the rate at which your maize is being affected by disease. So another thing is that planting at the appropriate time. So your planting also must be very appropriate. You must know when to plant your maize. Don't plant when you know that the population of disease or the population of insects in that particular place will be high. So if you know there's no you don't have the capability of using chemical, you don't have the capability, or you don't have the cost to buy disease resistant seed, and you don't have so you have to make sure you plan your timing, your planting time. So your planting time must be planned very well. You must plant at the time you know there will be rainfall, there will be a optimal rainfall, but less disease population. So another one you can do is removal of affected plants. Yes, this one is one of the best methods also to use. When you see that maybe you observe that a particular plant has been affected with disease, so the best thing for you to do is just that was eradicate, remove, eliminate that particular plant from the population of plants. So eradicate them, put them, dump them, dispose them in a safe area that won't be toxic too, so that it won't serve as a disease disperser to another farm land you grab. So maybe you can just eradicate. When you want to eliminate them, you can remove them and dump them in a place that will be safe for other farmers to grab. So then you can burn them down or bury them or do any other things that you know that can serve as a good elimination. So that it will reduce the inoculum. So the inoculum level will be reduced. It's not that when you observe a particular plant that has been affected with disease, then you start using the insecticide. Some plants might not yet be affected with disease, but when you start leaving it there and applying control methods like applying insecticide, fungicide and all those things, at that moment when the particular disease has not been affected, it can actually transfer to other plants. So the best way is when you observe that the numbers of maize that has been affected is still low, so you can just eliminate them, remove them from the population and dump them in a safe area. So another one is the application of integrated pest and disease. So most times also farmers do integrate, that means practice cultural control with chemical control or biological control. Integrate them, practice them all together. Maybe a farmer can actually buy a disease resistant disease, then at the long line maybe you see that some of the plants might have a less vigor, so can apply another cultural method. Even though you can actually apply chemical method, even though it has applied cultural method by spraying insecticide or spraying the appropriate fungicide. And you can also apply another method, combining all of them together. After applying this, then let me eradicate some of the affected maize. So this is the best method and best way for farmer to practice if he wants to have high yield in his maize farm. So I think we are able to learn one or two things today. So watch out for my next video on ways to improve or increase the yield of maize and other arable crops. Thank you.